Yesterday, we considered state school board selection. We had about 5 different proposals, and we passed out 3 of them, namely partisan, nonpartisan, and a governor-appointed system. And so I'll share with you my preference, and that is partisan school board elections. And the reason why is because every state-level office is determined through a partisan designation. Every state-level office has a party affiliation, and there's a reason for this. I mean, we have parties, namely, to provide some identity behind a candidate, some ballpark range of an idea of how a person thinks and how they may likely approach public policy. So I like this, and I don't know why we have excluded state school board from this, but to understand what happens in that election, and I've been involved in several state school board elections, understand that there are 188,000 people in this district. That's roughly about 2 Senate districts. And Senate offices, because they're high profile, because they go through the nominating process of a party, they get a lot of attention, they get a lot of funding. And where state school board race doesn't go through that, it gets no attention, it gets no funding. And in a world where we want to talk about voters being informed, it's almost impossible to campaign for a state school board race. With no money, try to think, how in the world do you reach 188,000 homes? It's not possible. It's not possible to knock on that many doors. It's very difficult to purchase the amount of signs you would need to cover the kind of geography in this size of a district. And so what are you left with? If the candidate really is not able to get out there, unless they're maybe wealthy and can buy these things, what do you go by? What do you go by? So at least having a partisan affiliation gives you some idea of who that person might be. So that is my preference. Now, I'm also okay with the governor appointment, and it took me a while to come around to this, but still not my favorite. But even in a governor-appointed situation, we have an idea of what's going to happen there. We have an idea of who these people might be. And when we elect a governor or we elect a president, we have a sense that they are going to do appointments, and those appointments should reflect that governor's ideology. So there's identity there, and we have an idea of who that person is going to be, and there's some accountability there, that the governor then is accountable to his people for public education. So the biggest complaint I hear from people, or the biggest concern I hear, and this has just been forever, is people will say, I just don't want politics involved in public education. And to them, I have one question to ask. Have you been in a cave for decades?